After all these years, we're finally here. This is my definitive list of the 5 best Godzilla video games ever made. The games that excite me, and give me waves of dopamine, and make me want to give back to the world. The games that feel like a morning commute with no traffic, and you're hitting every green light. These games are when you poop and then wipe and there's absolutely nothing on the toilet paper. They're the social media post with a like that came from your crush. The graham cracker you break into 2 perfectly equal halves right along the dotted line. These games are the feeling you get when someone tells you they like your shirt. Hey man, I like your shirt. Thank you, you're very kind. Uh-oh, here comes a bit.
Andy, are you dressed up for Halloween?
Trick or treat, boss. And it better be a treat.
Too late, it's a trick. Look, the sponsor appeared.
This video is brought to you by our friends at Buy.jp, the service we use when we want to buy items from Japan, or bid on auctions in Japan. Signing up for Buy is as easy as watching this video. Just click the link below and make a free account, and you'll get some free money. Plus, it helps the channel.
Signing up for Buy takes seconds, and you get 2,000 yen of free shopping money, which can get you more than you think. Even if you're not buying, it's just so fun to window shop. Every day feels like a convention.
Thank you, Buy, for sponsoring this video. I already did a top 5 worst Godzilla video game list.
The list rules are the same. Number 1, console games only, no computer games, no LCD handhelds, no arcade games. And rule number 2, Godzilla needs to be a prominent part of the game, not a cameo and not downloadable content later on. That's why you won't see games like Gigabash here as much as I love playing it.
Let's start. Number 5,
Godzilla Monster War for Super Famicom.
This 2D fighting game from 1994 has spectacular sprites, a pretty good soundtrack, and a presentation rich with Godzilla history. It was released in Japan, but just like Cuban cigars and unpasteurized cheese, it was not available in America.
This entry nudges out Godzilla Battle Legends, the prequel game on the Turbo Duo.
I'm just more impressed with what the Super Nintendo hardware did. I mean, it looks almost identical. This doesn't exactly sell me on the Turbo Duo. Then again, no one in America was sold on the Turbo Duo. Anyway, play this game with a friend. 1-player mode is okay, just brutal, even in practice. This game kicks the shit out of me like it knows an American isn't supposed to be playing it. And this terrible difficulty balance is what anchors this game to the bottom of the list. Now, 2-player mode, that's a good time. I recently reviewed this game if you want more of my thoughts on it, and just like my ex, the score's not gonna change. Number 4, Godzilla-kun Kaiju Daikasen for Game Boy. Isn't this funny? The American version of this puzzle game was on my list of the top 5 worst video games, but its Japanese counterpart is on my list of the top 5 best video games. It just goes to show the major differences just a few tweaks can make to a game. I find Godzilla-kun to be very fun. It's a puzzle game that non-Godzilla fans can also enjoy. You figure out what order to smash the rocks in to progress, while every monster, good and bad, tries to murder you. Yeah, it's Purge Night on Monster Island, and Godzilla's made a lot of enemies. It's not perfect, and some moments feel frustrating or unfair, but I still love this game. When I made its original video, I didn't yet know that it was based on a serial manga from the 1990s. All of these funny Godzilla derivatives are from that manga. I did a whole video on that you should check out. It'll explain the visual aesthetics of this game.
And here's the original review of the video game where I called it a hidden gem, and I stand by that remark.
Number 3, Godzilla Domination for Game Boy Advance. This 2002 Game Boy Advance game is not a hard sell. It's 1 to 4 players fighting and wrecking cities like in King of the Monsters. It has a lot of great modes, some cool monster sprites, and it has Kanimatsu. How are you not sold yet? Once again, I prefer the Japanese version of this game, but both versions are sharing this spot on the countdown. The Japanese version has some more game modes and no annoying UFO level. God, I hate this level! But unlike the previous entry, the American version of this game is also strong. For a full breakdown of the differences between the US and Japanese versions, check out this short video here. I love the fun and colorful presentation of Domination, and I find playing it very satisfying. From before I even started this video game show, Domination was already in my top 5 Godzilla video games list. Look up this game. Number 2, Godzilla for PlayStation 4. did you get my landline number? I don't even have my landline number. Yeah, this entry's gonna compel some people to leave a comment below. Everyone's got an opinion on Godzilla for PS4, known internationally as Godzilla Versus. Many people rank it as the worst of the worst, and I'd agree with those people if I wanted to be wrong. I still unapologetically love this game. Honestly, in my mind, it's virtually tied for the #1 spot. I'll say it again for the people in the back. This game was meant to be a Godzilla simulation game. An updated version of Godzilla Generations, if you will. And in that regard, I think it's a huge triumph. It's not a good fighting game, and it was never meant to be a fighting game. It is just a simulation game. You lumber around and destroy shit over and over. That's the point. But you could be other monsters too, all with their abilities, and they look so fucking good. This game is bursting with love and respect for Godzilla's history. Why hasn't that alone earned it a solid reputation? I just got a lot of joy out of this, and no comment below is gonna take that away. I hope one day they give a Godzilla simulation game like this another shot. Imagine playing something like this as Shin Godzilla or Godzilla -1 and using their abilities in a setting similar to this? This game is far from perfect, but I think it does a great job making you feel like one of these monsters, and allowing you to play out so many kaiju dream battles. Oh, and in my original video, I mentioned how it was available for 20 bucks. Well shit, that comment aged just about as well as MySpace's Top Friends feature. The game is now out of print and goes for hundreds of dollars. Boy, am I lucky I bought it when I did. Anyway, this game makes me proud. I love it despite its flaws and repetitiveness, and I don't think it deserves to be dogpiled the way it often is. I think at least some of those people that are super critical would actually wind up enjoying it if they gave it a more fair shot.
No feelings have really changed since the original review, so you can watch it for a more in-depth look. I'm gonna nudge this up half a star, maybe not. It depends on my mood.
This leaves the #1 best Godzilla video game as if you don't already know.
But first, some runners-up. Enjoyable Godzilla games that didn't make the list, because they were either nudged out or didn't qualify. And that leads us to the #1 Godzilla video game of all time.
#1, Destroy All Monsters Melee and Save the Earth. And I guess Godzilla Unleashed too. The Pipeworks trilogy of games shares the #1 spot, otherwise they'd hog up over half the countdown. But if you want to break it down further, 1A is Save the Earth, 1B is Destroy All Monsters Melee, and 1C is Godzilla Unleashed, making Godzilla Save the Earth my #1 Godzilla video game. But it does sort of share the spot with the PS4 game. It depends on my mood! The Pipeworks games are perfect for playing with friends and making it a party, and they're just as enjoyable alone. Toho monsters, smashing stuff with ridiculous combos, it's practically 3 video game versions of Godzilla Final Wars. I think one of the most incredible things about all these games is just how well they hold up. If you have fun nostalgia for them, everything you love is still there if you play them today. It's like coming home again. When you really think about it, it is incredible how lucky we are to have this trilogy. 3 games! We haven't seen anything like it since. All these monsters, all this energy, killer soundtracks, love for the movies, old and new, times 3! I don't think at the time I fully realized how good we had it. You can see my reviews for these games across these 3 videos. And that is my list on the top 5 Godzilla console games as of 2024, and at the rate Godzilla console games are coming out, this will probably remain the top 5 for quite some time. But you never know! Tell me your favorite Godzilla video games in any media in the comments below. What's at the top of your list? Well, the Pipeworks games are...
Besides the Pipeworks games!
And what kind of game would you want to see come out that could make this list? I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to subscribe, it really helps. Until next time. I simply must give a shout out to MrWest.com, a patron who has entered the Evil Buddies tier. Ooh. So I get to say your name, MrWest.com.